Alright, before we move on with any more parts installation, I'm going to go ahead and take a minute to fix this bottle cage boss. When we got the frame, this particular boss was stripped out, so you couldn't actually thread a water bottle cage bolt into it. So I went ahead and picked up a rivet gun, and we're gonna go ahead and install this this new boss rivet nut in here. So we want to, when you do this sort of thing, you want to make sure you have the right size rivet nut, and this one is the one that we're going to use. So we will just install that onto the end of the gun here. And then that goes into the hole in the frame. I had to drill this out first before we could do the installation. Wish I had shot video of that, but basically it was just taking the right size drill bit and slowly drilling through that until you could pull the outside piece off, and then the piece that fell down inside, we just shook that out to the end of the tube, and it fell out the head tube. So that in here, I just crimp this down until it's tight. We'll unscrew that. There we go. We've got the new rivet nut in place. We'll just make sure that this will thread in, and it does. So all good to go. And then there's a close-up of that rivet nut in place. Nice flush connection there, and will work perfect. Alright, now that we got this water bottle boss nut rivet fixed, it's time to put on the front and rear derailleur. And to match that crankset, I've got a Tiagra short cage rear derailleur and a Tiagra 10-speed front derailleur. This was a braze-on, which means it did not have this clamp on it, but I had the clamp there for this particular seat tube that I've installed, and so it's ready to clamp right onto this this frame. So let's get started with that. All you need for most rear derailleur installations is a simple Allen wrench. Just tighten that up. Make sure it clears all of the rear cogs. And then set your limiter screws so that top jockey wheel sits right below the small cog when it's in resting position, and then right below the large cog when it's fully activated or actuated. Front derailleur is just going to clamp right here to the seat tube. You just want that to be, 2 or 3 millimeters above the large chainring teeth. And just make sure that's good and tight on there. And then it clears the chainring when it's actuated. Got my 10-speed chain here, all pulled out, and I'm going to thread that through the rear derailleur. Easier said than done. Took me a few times to get that worked up through the jockey wheels. Now this chain is uncut, so I'm going to lay it over the crankset. Pull that tight along the bottom to figure out how many links I need to remove. So I'm just using a Park tool, chain tool here, and I'm going to remove these extra links basically in the small ring in the back and small ring in the front, and the small cog in the back. We want it to the chain to clear the rear derailleur, and I'm using just a couple of quick links here, or quick link to connect that. After doing this, I realize I need to get my next tool purchase needs to be a master link tool, because that was not easy to clip into place, but I did finally got it to snap together there. Now just setting limiters on the front derailleur so the chain doesn't rub while it's in the small ring there, and we a smooth operation there. Ready to put on the cables.